It's everything I dreamed of.
I want to tell my dad that I love him.
I still don't know what just happened.
I'm just so grateful for the opportunity to play this game. A legacy is not what you give people, it's what you put inside people, and also what they put inside of me.
Hey everyone, welcome to Beyond the Locker Room with Maria. I have one thing to say. The Cincinnati Bengals are going to the Super Bowl.
I was rooting so hard for Cincinnati.
Were you? I was too.
I was. You know what? When the game started, I was like, "Oh my God, this is going to be a blowout." I hate Patrick Mahomes. I hate his TikToking Jackson Mahomes brother. I hate his wife. But and then I'm like, Trevor, it's a little cynical. Like, why would you hate somebody like that? And I'm like, they just do stupid stuff on TV, and I hate them. But maybe they're just supporting their brother and husband or fiance, and they have baby daddy, and They missed that touchdown at halftime, and I was like, man, I really hope that doesn't come back to burn them later. But in my mind, I'm like, man, I really hope that comes back and burns them, because there was a Kansas City fan right in front of me, and he's my friend, and he was smart. He doesn't watch the games with anybody.
So that is smart.
I think so too, because you know what, I get really heated. And there's some people there's some people at the bar that just root against you for no reason. It's like, dude,
and you're cooking their food. They're not very smart.
It's just like, hey man, I'm an Eagles fan, and someone will be just rooting against you because they know you root for the Eagles and their team sucks. You're like, you know what, just leave me alone.
And this is all the start of T-Bone's Take. Whee!
The hot take.
The hot take. I love it. Okay, well, this is something funny. So we were visiting John's 93-year-old aunt, Aunt Kay. God bless her. She is on top of it. She remembers everything. She went and got a receipt and a check for the piano she had bought 15 years ago, and it took her 3 seconds. She knew exactly where it was, and she's not a hoarder. So I was like, John, Aunt Kay's. We had the game on in the background. I go, she is more important than the playoffs. Then we drove to Boise, and we listened to it on the radio. It reminded me of when my dad, we would drive places and we would listen to sports. And actually, comment below about your best memories. Did you ever do that? I know I'm a little older than you, but did you ever listen? I mean, we did on road trips.
We usually coming back from hockey trips. So Jackson Hole, and obviously, it was a little hard to get the radio onto. It's and you're listening to. I remember when the Vikings lost to Atlanta, and the Atlanta went to the Super Bowl, and they lost to, I can't remember who, but I remember Randy Moss was the best, and they had Dante Culpepper, and the kicker missed the field goal, and they were doing the Dirty Bird dance, and I remember Cody Lample's dad was he was listening to it. He knew we were going for the Vikings, and he looked back at it. He missed the field goal. He missed it. They're gonna lose. I was like, oh my God, I hate you, Tom.
So fun. Well, no, it's a totally different experience listening. And John and I were like, oh my word. And he's driving, and I'm grabbing his arm and his coat, and I'm like, oh my word, can you believe this?
It's almost like you have to focus, and I think that's it's cool. You have to use your imagination and think about the field and where they are, and you know.
And it was hilarious because John was like, I said, oh, he did this, and it bounced out of him and it went 10 yards. He goes, how do you know that? I go, because I can picture it. And it was right. We watched the highlights later. But anyway, it was kind of fun and different to listen. And yeah, I had to pay attention. But good for Cincinnati. They were bested by Joe Montana and the 49ers at the end of the 81 and 88 season. This is only their third deal.
So the last time, so I wasn't alive the last time they were in the Super Bowl, but I remember the play because they show it on ESPN Greatest Plays all the time. The guy's tight end's running across the end zone, and the linebacker jumps up to get it, misses it, and the 49ers score, and they're like, yeah, the Cincinnati guys are like, no, and we were talking about it yesterday. It was pretty funny.
Well, I have to say, Cindy, who used to work at Lefty's, now she's a realtor in town, she's going. She is so excited. She's going to the big show. And she had tickets, I think, before even. But anyway, she's excited, so shout out to her.
You know what? I'm going to just say I don't think I'd want to go to the Super Bowl.
I have been for work.
Yeah.
And actually, we're going to talk to a good friend of mine who's worked a bunch of Super Bowls next week about, he does Skycam and all that. there's a lot going on, and unless you have like good VIP something,
Yeah,
it's
I feel like being at home is like the NFL. You're getting the best angles, and and like it's such a like you're getting in. It's 2 hours. When you're leaving, it's hours. There's people.
Yeah.
There's just like you said, unless you're the VIP, like you're getting escorted out down the elevator to the back parking lot. You're out. You know what I'm saying?
No, it's true. It's true. I went to one, years ago in San Diego, but I don't even know who went.
Yeah.
We just had a lot of fun, too much fun, and I don't even think I watched the game.
And this is the first year of the Super Bowl where the home team is actually the home team, because the Tampa Bay was actually the away team last year.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. So the Rams will, and San Francisco, I was watching.
And how many, did you see how many 49ers fans were at that game?
Tons. Well, I was at a house that was all 49ers fans. Okay, we're loud, and I love these people, but they were louder than our family, and such a close game. They were louder than our family, and it was so heartbreaking. I really did want San Francisco, because I wanted San Francisco Cincinnati like the last 2 times Cincinnati
I
went.
definitely was going underdogs. I didn't think that Cincinnati had a chance in hell to win.
I didn't either.
Like, I used to date a girl from Cincinnati.
You tell me. You don't
and
want
like,
that.
I was almost going to text her today. So I just found this out. I told you this morning before we got on. So the backup quarterback, I'm not sure if he's I think he might be second string, maybe third string. Anyway, he played for the Vikings this summer. He was cut. He's undrafted, but he works out at the gym we work out in town in the off season, and his wife works in town for a company. And
We won't tell who, but yeah.
And so I almost texted her, if you're looking for a Super Bowl ticket, maybe track this person down. And then I was like, dude, you don't even know this person. You don't need to be blowing up their spot and like having some rando show up and then coming back to me, and then we don't get an interview with that guy. You know what I'm saying?
True. But we are going to get one. We're getting a few after the season, which will be fun. But you always said, I was in here last night and getting my burger. It was quite delicious. You were like, Jimmy Garoppolo threw a touchdown, so they'll lose.
Yeah. And then at the end, too, my girlfriend's dad, he's like, he hasn't thrown an interception yet either. So that's still on the board, too. I'm like, that's just like too many numbers working against you. He's like, he always throws an interception usually, and if he throws a touchdown, they're not as likely to win. Isn't that weird?
So who do you like? I know we have the Pro Bowl first, which I used to like it when the Pro Bowl was after the Super Bowl, because then a bunch of guys can go that are going to the Super Bowl, but whatever. That's what it is.
Well,
but who do you like? I'm going to jump on the Cincinnati bandwagon just because.
I'm going for Cincinnati.
I don't know if they'll win.
I think the Rams are going to win.
Well, and how great Matt Stafford was basically plucked from the Lions just to come win the Super Bowl.
Yeah, and Sean McVay's girlfriend's pretty hot too. I looked her up. Somebody was like talking about her, and I looked her up yesterday, and I was like, oh my god, she's like this Russian supermodel.
Well, of course she is. It's Sean McVay. She's probably 3 feet taller than him, too.
So I guess they like in Cancun, Stafford and McVay like met up or something like that.
Yeah.
And they were probably just like, Jared Goff, you suck. I mean, you couldn't even win a Super Bowl. And it was funny because in 2017, it was the Eagles' year.
Yeah.
And so the year after, the Patriots beat the Rams, this trick question was, who was the last quarterback to throw a touchdown in the Super Bowl? And then they're like, oh, well, Tom Brady. You're like, no, it was Nick Foles, because no one threw a touchdown in that boring LA Rams Patriots Super Bowl. So that's a fun fact, too.
I like that. I like your fun facts.
I know.
I like it, and that
Just
McVay's
hate it.
girlfriend is hot.
She's very attractive, okay?
Well, you're not.
I don't want to sound shallow, but she's a smoke show. She's a rider.
Hey, man, I would love to be called that, but I'm not a Russian model, so especially with
Probably in the mafia.
my hat head. So we're both going for Cincinnati. We'll see.
I just think that defense wins championships, and you know what else was cool? Both quarterbacks were so cool in the interviews. Like Joe Burrow, the girl was trying to like tap him on the shoulders, and he knew he was there, but he was too busy congratulating his team. He's like, here, just like give me a second here. And then there was another moment where Joe Burrow, I guess, played college ball with one of the linemen.
At LSU, yeah.
LSU, so they won a national championship together, and this guy carried Joe off the field. And so this guy also plays for the Cincinnati Bengals, so when they won this game, he also picked up Joe and carried him around. It was pretty cool.
That's very cool.
Yeah, I mean, that's just like, this LSU Tigers, now Cincinnati Bengals crew, they got, Jamar Chase too. I mean, that was crazy to watch. I mean, people were going nuts in here, and he had that high step when the guy almost tackled him, and he started running the ball. I mean, like, in Mahomes, I mean,
threw an interception. That
Well,
was the overtime.
I think
Boom.
the thing was, he got into this mode where, like, he wouldn't. They missed the touchdown at the half, and then he was like, "Oh, that's my fault," and then he started doing too much. Like, he's running around. It was like the Super Bowl last year. He's running around, and like the receivers even at one point were like, "Dude, what are you doing?"
Yeah. No, I agree with you. And again, we were listening to it, but I was like, I can't. I mean, he almost threw a pick, and then he threw a pick, and they went down, and the rookie McPherson won the game for him again.
Yeah.
Which was awesome. I loved it. So, yeah, we'll see who wins the Super Bowl. I'm going for the advertisements as well, which is awesome.
I've seen a couple advertisements already. They're pretty funny.
Yeah, they are pretty funny. And the Manning brothers are always hilarious. I saw one this morning on Get Up. And the big news, too, this week, Tom Brady made it official. He officially retired.
I don't believe him. I really don't.
Really? I do.
No, I don't. I don't believe him. I think he's blowing smoke. And he's a snake oil salesman.
Well, Giselle wrote a very nice, "I love you, you've done so great, blah, blah, blah." And then on all the shows, they're like, he's one of the oldest quarterbacks, but one of the youngest as a retired human.
That's crazy.
Isn't that
Well, they were
funny?
comparing him yesterday. They're like, who does he stack up against? And like, in
No one.
sports, like icons, and they're like, well, he stacks up with like Wayne Gretzky,
Michael
Babe
Jo-
Ruth,
Michael Jordan.
Michael Jordan, and I'm like, yeah, those guys aren't cool or anything. And then I was like, Trevor Thomas, me, no big deal. I'm like, whoa, right on. They're like, yeah, right in your dreams, dude.
Well, and then, so if he does, I think he's going to go media and have a cush life with his wife and kids, and
I
he
hope
seems very
takes-
dedicated.
I hope he takes a couple years off so I don't have to see him. And then when he comes back, I'll be like, open arms. I'm like, there you are. Thank you for taking the time.
Well, you never know. And then the whole, Aaron Rodgers. Okay, this was funny. On The Tonight Show,
You guys are loser.
Jimmy Fallon did pros and cons of playing in the Super Bowl. I just watched it this morning. One of the pros is Dr. Dre is performing. The con is it's the only doctor Aaron Rodgers trusts.
Oh, man, that's good.
Isn't that
That
hilarious?
is good.
And they're like, parting ways from Green Bay is probably imminent with him. Who knows? I'm kind of over it with him, personally.
Yeah, he's got opinions, and so do a lot of people, but other people don't. They have Twitter, not, the ESPN and Pat McAfee. But you know what? You're entitled to your opinion. Do what you got to do. And he's a good quarterback, and I don't know what he's going to do, but they're saying that like the best chance for him to win a Super Bowl is probably to stay in Green Bay. I don't know. Denver sounds pretty good, but
He's going to have to, I don't want to say put his tail between his legs because, he's an amazing quarterback, but you look at how Tom Brady retired, and it was just classy.
you know what? Another thing that I realized was, who has as many playoff wins, Super Bowls, and Super Bowl MVPs as Aaron Rodgers?
Well, besides a lot of people, few people. Tom Brady.
No, Nick Foles.
Oh,
They have the same playoff record,
Really?
and Super Bowl record, and Super Bowl MVPs. So it's like, you're so good, but like, you're not.
but you're not, because he's only won one.
He's so good, but like, it's like, hey, you're not good because you're not winning championships every year. Like,
Well, and he's fallen for 4 championships and can't make it to the Super Bowl. So that's, who knows? Who knows?
we're just really hating right now. I drank my haterade this morning. Sorry.
Guess you
Let's
did.
get off that.
Well,
I'm just really pumping the Eagles tires. I'm like, Nick Foles, Nick Foles.
well, and we filmed this Wednesday morning before the weekend. Jim Harbaugh interviewing with the Vikings on National Signing Day. National Collegiate Signing Day was Wednesday. and he's not in Michigan. He's interviewing with the Vikings. So I'm thinking he's wrapping that up if he's.
I feel like that's a bad move for Michigan. You're like, why are you interviewing on signing day? We need you to be there.
I know. That's what, but it's a
interesting.
Harbaugh. I like the other Harbaugh better, personally.
I
Sorry.
like both of them.
I like both, but I like the other one better.
I was talking to a Vikings fan. I'm like, how do you feel about Harbaugh interviewing? He's like, you know what? I'm just ready for new blood, like, you know, and a new regime. Like, let's do this, because I think last year was kind of rough on the Vikings.
Yeah.
It was just like, ooh, well, they needed those wins, and then Kirk Cousins got sick, and they couldn't play, and their backup quarterback's definitely not. I mean, like, these are division games too. It's like you're playing the Packers, and Kirk Cousins is out with COVID. You're like, well, you guys are done.
Yeah. No, it's in the whole coaching carousel. Mm-hmm. And then of course Wednesday morning, 9 teams will have new coaches in 2022. I think right now there are 7. And the huge breaking news was Brian Flores, the Dolphins coach, is suing the NFL, and 3 teams alleges racism in hiring practices. And I think it all started with Bill Belichick accidentally texting Brian Flores instead of Brian Dabble.
Yeah, he said congrats on the job, and then there was a mix-up. And then he was saying that, like, in 2019 he was offered $100,000 to, like, lose games. It's like, how do you lose? I mean, I'm not a football genius, but I am. But, like, how do you? I guess if I were coaching a football game, we'd probably lose. So yeah, that's probably a pretty easy way to do it. But yeah, how do you lose a game and, like, offer money like that? That's just, like, super shady.
Yeah, it's all allegedly, but I have to give Brian Flores, you know, he had the first 2 winning seasons at the Dolphins, and then he got fired. And you and I talked about it a few weeks ago. We're like, what? But
I think it's, I feel like this has kind of been an underlying issue for a long time, and it always gets brought up, but it's never really, you know, it sticks around. It's like, there's, you know, 32 teams, and I believe there's only one African-American coach, and he just got let go. And, I mean, granted, the teams are allowed to hire who they want, but, you know, I mean, he basically they said that he probably won't coach again. So if he's the one that brings up the issue forever that this needs to stop, then, you know, good for him.
I know I guess his son was like, Dad, are you going to coach somewhere this year? And he's taken a huge risk for what he stands for. And I don't care what you think about anything, I give that my thumbs up. And then there's the Rooney Rule established in 2003 in 2003. Okay, it's 2022, and it doesn't seem like this has really gone into effect with a lot of people. Increase the number of minorities hired. Must interview at least 2 diverse candidates, in-person interviews with at least 1 external minority candidate for any GM or head coaching interview. So I really think Brian Flores is like, you know, New York had really already hired someone, and they just, because of the Rooney Rule, brought him in. But like I said, he could never coach again. Maybe someone picks him up, but it's kind of crazy, and it's taken over the airwaves for sure, and we'll see what happens there. And if he still has, I think, 2 interviews with teams that, of course, have to do it now.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see. I don't know. It's just like, it's weird.
But yeah, I saw him on Get Up this morning. He's like, you know what? There's no way I can't. And you and I have talked about this before. I'm like, how do teams not sandbag to get the first round pick? Because they're athletes. They're competitive. You know, be nice to get them. You know, the Eagles have a bunch because they, you know, did a bunch of rigmarole, as I like to call it. But
did some swapping.
They did some swapping, but it's like, how can you play hockey? Would you ever go out and sandbag?
No.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Well, maybe Trevor would for the right amount of money.
Yeah, I don't get paid, you know.
But so it's all interesting. It's going to be an interesting week. Both teams, of course, in the Super Bowl on, what is it, the 13th? I don't even know what day the Super Bowl is. I know it's a Sunday from this Sunday.
Who got hired for the Raiders? Do you know that?
I saw it. Stand by. Raiders head coach.
Yeah.
There were some funny.
He's the guy that drafted Tebow for the Broncos, I think. So all the Broncos fans are really happy that he's with the Raiders because they think he sucks.
Josh McDaniels.
There it is.
I could picture his face, and I couldn't think of his name.
Yeah, so like all the Denver fans I talk to, they're like, yeah, pumped. This guy sucks.
Well, and it's
we
crazy.
get to play him twice a year in the division.
You know, and sources 2 days ago was, you know, they were going to hire, you know, different people. Sean McVay, you know, not Sean McVay, sorry. The Saints coach. So it's kind of just
Sean Payton.
Sean Payton. Sorry, wrong Sean.
He's under contract though, so they have to wait.
So yeah, it's kind of a coaching carousel, as I said before, and we'll see, and we'll really see what happens with Brian Flores. It will be interesting to see. And he was on all the morning shows Wednesday morning, which is good. But I'm still back to the Super Bowl and the Super Bowl ads. I kind of get bummed out, and we'll end on this, that now, I mean, I watch it, the Today Show, and everyone shows all the Super Bowl ads before the Super Bowl.
Yeah, that's lame. Some people
I think
only
it's kinda
watch
lame.
the Super Bowl for the ads. You're like ruining it for them.
I agree with you on that. But, all right, you got to go pick up Miss Amanda. I got to do books. So stay tuned, because last week, HR DeRiggs, Huey, who I work with at the Firefighter Challenge, was talking about firefighters and football. And I cut him off on a couple really great questions. And he's coming back to answer those questions and more. So stay tuned. Pro Bowl is all for football this weekend. So maybe I'll come here and watch a cook and...
Yeah. I got one more thing to say. Deebo
Yes.
Samuels is the toughest receiver / running back I've ever seen. And when he got hit in that game, they threw a flag because the refs are like, is it even legal to hit that hard? And they took it back, and I thought he was dead. And he got up and played a great game.
It was a huge
that
hit.
was crazy. And, it's kind of nice to talk about 2 games and then try to, not watch 16. You know what I'm saying?
I know, but I go into a deep depression after the Super Bowl. I'm just telling y'all right now.
That's why we'll be at the gym working out, trying to get Super Bowl tickets for next year from that girl.
From that girl.
Yeah.
You know who you are. We're coming after you. All right. Thanks, Trev. Everyone have a great weekend. More next week. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button, please. Thank you. So let's talk. I have so much to talk to you about. Captain of the team.
Yes.
You're a leader. I know you. That's your persona. You are confident, and he's really a big teddy bear too. But you're confident, and you're so all around.
Yes.
In so many departments. But what did you learn from being the captain, and how hard was that? I mean, you had to lead the team besides the coaches.
I became captain when I was a senior. So for 3.5, 4 years, as I played, my 5th year senior. For 3.5, 4 years, I'm, messing around with my boys, with my teammates, with the guys who were captain. I'm messing with them like, whatever. We're not listening to the captain, blah, 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 whatever. We're not running hard. And then the year I became captain, I'm like, okay, I'm going to have to now get the entire team, because I'm the offensive lineman, I'm the captain, now everybody knows me. So now I've got to get this entire team to now, one, perform well, because I don't want to look bad, one, and I want to win. I want a championship. And what that did, that showed me how to separate management, how to be a good manager. You can be a good manager and a good friend and not mix the two. But you also have to lead by example. When it was, I'll never forget, I'll tell you a quick story. We had, it was the middle of summer, and all the linemen watching this know what monkey rolls are. If you get on a 5-man sled, and just to put it plainly and make it quick, it's a 5-man sled. You start with one man on the first dummy, the first mat. You hit that dummy, you roll on your butt, and you do it again, and you do it again until all 5 of you have now hit the mat all at the same time. So it's probably a 90-degree plus Long Island, New York summer. Very hot. It feels like the sun is right there staring at you. So our former Marine of a coach, Frank Lamani, says, okay, who's going first? And everybody starts humbling, grumbling. I don't know if I can do this. And all I could think of was, my uncle is very pivotal in my life. And my uncle said, you know what, you have to be the one to get out there and show them that you love it. You have to get out there and be the one to show them that you're crazy enough to get out there and in the heat and do it and love it. And I hear my uncle, and I'm like, when coach says again, who wants to go? I'm like, I do. He's like, Huey, you want to go? I'm like, yeah, I want to go. But, long story short, through that effort, we became the only undefeated team in our school's history. We won a championship that year. The only undefeated school in our undefeated team in our school's history. I played Division II, but I still won championships. So a win is a win is a win.
Heck yeah. No, I know. I was reading that on your bio and I was like, what was that like? I don't care if you're, an SEC school, Long Island University, whatever. It's championship.
Yeah.
And what was that like? And holding that record of being undefeated still.
It's surreal. It's surreal because not many NFL players get championships. Not many college players win a ring. Not many players win a ring, period. Whether it be no matter what of the three levels you're in, high school, college, or pro, not many people win. And I was able to win a championship in high school, and I was able to win 2 championships in college. And I'm even getting chills right now thinking about it because I'll tell you what it taught me or what it showed me. For a while when I graduated, I didn't want to go to an NFL game, and I didn't want to go to an NFL game because I didn't make it pro myself. And I was kind of salty. I'm like, man, I wanted to be pro and, it would have been fun and And, again, not everybody goes pro, but we all have aspirations. So one day, one of my boys says, hey, you want to go to a Giants game? I'm a New Yorker, so I'm a Giants fan. So I said, yeah, why not? We'll go to a Giants game, have a couple of drinks and have some food and enjoy the game. I get to the game. And I thought I was going to not have a good time. And I thought I was just going to be a little bit dejected. And they scored a touchdown and I heard the crowd roar. And I was like, wait a minute. I've heard that before because it was the same roar when I was in college when we won. When we won championships or when we won big games or when we scored. So I was like, oh, I didn't miss anything. I experienced this. I mean, maybe it wasn't 110,000 people. It was probably 30,000, but hey, I still experienced it. Whatever.
That's interesting to me that you didn't. I mean, I could see why you didn't want to go. I was not an athlete in high school. I was the pom-pom cheerleader. But this is going to sound so silly, but a lot of times I tried out once and didn't make it in college. And then I was like, well, should I try it again? And I guess my point is, it was fine for me. I had fun in high school, all of that. In college, I went on to other things, but you have to want it in high school and college. You have to want it. I'm competitive in a lot of things in life, but sports is not one of them because I'm not very athletic in that sense.
Yeah.
But how did you keep that drive of you just wanted it? High school football, your high school and college football All-American. How did you keep that going? And how do you keep it going in everyday life now?
It's good questions, Maria. Those are some good questions. How I did it in school was it felt like the right thing to do. If that makes any sense, it felt like success felt good. I'll put it that way. Success felt good. And, accolades felt good. Making a tackle and hearing your name felt good. Being noticed, walking around the school felt good. Being interviewed by newspapers felt good. So there's a little bit of selfishness in there. There's a little bit of vanity in there. You get a little vain, but then there's also a part in there where you get to find out a little bit about yourself. You get to find out what happens when you face adversity, because not I wasn't bigger than everybody. I mean, yeah, I'm a big guy. I'm tall. I played offensive line or whatever, but yes, but there were linemen who were much bigger than me. There were linemen who were much faster than me, but you may be bigger, you may be faster, but do you have it up here? Do you have the tenacity I have? Do you have the drive that I have, that no matter, my coach used to say, being a lineman is like being in a heavyweight fight for 60 minutes and both of you taking punches, and, the person who can take the very last punch, that's the one that wins. And I mean, that's exactly what it is. You hear about guys like Kobe Bryant and that Mamba mentality, that get up early and go get it done. And that's what our motto was in college. It was just get it done. You want to win. You want the ring. You want the applause. You want everything that comes. You want all the trappings that come with, make that beautiful looking bacon cheeseburger. Well, now you got to go kill the cow. Now you got to go do the work and process the meat. Now you got to actually cook it. So there was never a free lunch. There was never a free lunch. It was always, if you want it, then you've got to go get it. And if you don't want it and you don't want to go get it, that's fine too. And I'll segue that into my life today. If you want to be somewhere in life, then you have to take the necessary steps to get there. If you want to have a great job and get promoted, then you have to have that behavior. If you want to have a nice car, then you have to save up money. If you want to go get something to eat, then you got to, have money to have a job to earn that money to go do it. So it's I don't know. It's just those things have permeated into the rest of my life, everything that I experienced with football, because if I can go up against somebody who's 6'5", 240, running a 4.3 40, and I can shut him down, then, hey, I can handle this job too. This job is nothing, or these bills are nothing. I've played somebody and beat them 21-0. I mean, so you always go back to those stories. If there's one thing, and I'm sure that football players are perfect at, is telling stories, telling stories about their old battle wounds. So I remember third down, fourth quarter, we were playing against Georgia. Oh man, do you remember that? Oh boy, that was crazy. But it's like that because those moments are frozen in time. They're literally frozen in time. I can go back to every championship game. I can go back to all those big wins because it's frozen. It's frozen in time.
And it's interesting, someone like me, or my whole thing is with your career and your job, I used to have shoulda, coulda, would have I done this? Or what if I should have done this? But then it's like, but you're here now. I always say I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be, or I wouldn't be here. But I think the pressure on just normal human beings that don't even play sports to go out and get a career is hard. But then you came from these championships. Did you ever feel like, oh man, I can't fail because I haven't in the past in sports? Did that roll over into, what if I didn't get a job I wanted? Or what if I got let go from a job, no matter what the circumstances? I mean, it's hard for me, and I didn't even have that, mentality of just go get it, just go, in sports. But does it make it harder I'm not saying that you've had a lot of failures, but everyone has ups and downs in their lives. Does it make it harder when you're on a down, or does that make it easier for you to climb it back out? Because you're like, look, I used to go against 6'6", 260-pound guys and win. I can take this job, or I can do this, or I can save up for the,
Yeah, it absolutely. It definitely, like I said, it definitely permeates to other areas of your life, because you always have that strength to fall back on. You always have that strength to fall back on. You're always hustling to find to find a way out. You're always problem solving. That's what I'm trying to say, is that, playing sports like football or contact sports, or sports that are very physically demanding, whether it be mentally or, if it's mentally demanding, it's also part of your body. So that's physically demanding as well. But if you play a sport that's very demanding on your body, then it causes you to critically think. It causes you to figure out, okay, how can I fall back? How can I, land on my feet on this one? What do I need to do to figure this out? One play that you get beat, the next play you beat the guy. So, and the same thing in life, one day you lose a job, next day you get a great job. Things happen, and the moral of the story is things happen. You have to be able to roll with the punches. You have to know know how to look adversity in the face, know how to be humble enough, be humble enough to look fear in the face and acknowledge it. Acknowledging a lot of people don't want to acknowledge fear because it's scary. Duh. But but at the same time, it's empowering to acknowledge that fear, to look that fear in the face. Because once you do and you succeed, it's gotcha, fear. Come at me again. And then next time fear comes at you, it's like, well, remember what I did to you last time? I got something else for you. So it's hard. I'm not gonna sit up here and say that, it's all peaches and cream every day, and I'm super motivated all the time, and I don't need people to lean on. Every leader needs a coach. Everybody needs somebody to lean on. Is that a song?
I'm not going to sing it, but yes.
Oh no, I'm not going to sing it. I'm not going to sing it either, but I feel like it's a song.
Yeah.
Somebody lean on. Oh, no, I'm not
lean
going there.
on me.
Yeah.
I think you made such a great point, because people that don't play sports, especially as demanding as football, everyone needs someone to look up to. Whether, like me, it was my parents. I had immigrant grandparents. I mean, how do you come over not knowing the language to this country? I know things were a lot different back then, but everyone needs their coach. Even, I have a gentleman in TV. He's my mentor, one of my best friends, and now business partner, but he's still the boss. And anything I do in life, I'll call him up and say, "Hey, David, what about this?" And he'll give me his advice.
Right.
I don't know sometimes, and he'll be watching this. I'm like, well, I don't know if I agree with that. He goes, well, you asked for it. Don't ask for advice if you don't want to hear the answer. And this is true.
Right.
I think everyone needs that, their coach, their mentor, their, the team players, the camaraderie, like you said, with the firefighters, football. I find it in rodeo. It's an amazing family. But the difference too is that nowadays you guys didn't have, and again, you're not that old, but social media was not where it was now. And I think, and I'm sure, a lot of athletes, and especially even some of the younger firefighters, how does that impact them? Because you're under a microscope. You were in college anyway, I'm assuming. You had, curfews, you had lights out, you had a routine. And now with social media, it helps some, sure, maybe in a career of social media and broadcasting and all, but I don't know if I could have done that, because I post enough, but probably not as much as I should for my career. But
well, the biggest thing that what started to happen when, as I started to get in my later years in high school and college, the social media started to come up, and you started to see more guys use that media as far as when I was coming up, media tapes were very big. So, you would get guys who would, who wanted highlights. So the transition was, rather than sending a coach or sending a school just video of you playing a game, you would hire somebody in your family. Your father hired a cameraman to actually watch you the whole game. And then, that cameraman goes and creates this wonderful, beautifully edited, sizzle reel, if you will. And, that's what they would send to schools. So that was the thing coming up with social media that, I saw the writing on the wall that, it was useful. But I think we used what we needed to at the time. Had social media been around, I'm sure we probably would have jumped on it. And, because we were on Facebook and, MySpace and, AOL and, we were on all those things. So
yeah, you did. We did have email back in the day.
Yeah.
And like I said, not to diss it, because it helps our careers, the careers we're in. It does help. I just think some people, whether you're a football player or not, you can get lost in it. Yeah,
absolutely. And if you're not smart, there's a rabbit hole. I instead of Alice in Wonderland, they should call it Alice in Instagram, because if you're not careful, you can spend many moons, much time on social media and it's not growth time. You can make money on social media. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that you can't, but I'm saying that from let me say it right. Entertainment is entertainment, and know how to appreciate it or know how to absorb it when the time is right. I should say it that way. That you're not supposed to be entertained 24/7. There's some time where you got to work, so I would say that's the difference, is that social media has become a money-making tool, a financial tool, but it's also just a, short video and quick picture rabbit hole that you just got to be careful.
I love Allison Instagram. Oh my word.
Allison Instagram.
So good. That's going to be the post for this one.
Yeah.
Well, it's true. And it takes work. And I think all the athletes, and especially football players I've interviewed over my life, it takes work. And I think sometimes a lot of young kids and even people who want to get into television will go, oh, I want to work with you. I want to, do this and do that. And I'm like, it's work. I interviewed a dear friend of mine, and he is busier than both of us combined and has a family. And he's like, it's work. You got to love it. And you can't do it just to become famous. Mm-hmm. And yeah, there are a lot of people out there that have done that. But it's work, and it's every week, and it's posting and things like that. And that's where I think too, so many football players are successful. And it's heartbreaking sometimes to see these super successful players, whether it's mental health or, they get in a bind, and we all make mistakes. And to me, sometimes it's like, it's too bad. And people are like, they have everything, but they have everything and they have a lot of pressure too. And I mean, I'm sure you felt it still. I mean, once you won the first collegiate championship, you come back the next year. It's like Tom Brady losing. What? He's not going to be in the Super Bowl this year. There's a lot of pressure when you do well.
Yeah.
And how did you handle that? And I won't keep you much longer, but how did you handle that coming back to say, okay, we don't have all the same guys, but we still want to win another championship?
You asked wonderful questions. Let me tell you a story. You see, here goes another story.
I love it. My viewers and listeners love it.
We won the first championship. Okay, so I had a great college story. We went to 4 championships in a row. We lost 2, and then we won 2 back to back. So we lost 2 back to back, and then won 2 back to back. So the first year my freshman year, I would just say the team was rebuilding. They had a poor record before. They were 2-14 the year before, and they got all the draft picks, and the year I came in, they had number 1 draft pick. So we had kids coming from all over New York City, and but it took us a while to really get to know each other. So first year, 6-4. Next year was 7-3. But the year we won a championship, we were 8-2. And then the following year we went 9-1. Then the following year we went undefeated. We went 11-0. And I'll never forget, after the first championship, that first camp, coach was watching video, and he was like, "Oh, let's just watch some film." And we had the first game, and coach was watching film. He's like, "Hey, Huey," they called me Huey. He was like, "Hey, Huey, let's look at your feet." So he's like, "Yeah, let's look at your feet." And he was like, "Everybody, come around." So the entire team is now in the locker room in front of this little camera, this little TV, and we're watching film. I'm thinking coach is getting ready to give me a good shout out, like, I did a great block and blah blah blah. Oh my God. Coach takes the remote, and I mean, he went from play, rewind, pause, rewind, pause, point, rewind, play, point. And I was in the middle of it, talking about, "Huey, you've gotten slow. Look at how fat you've gotten from last year. Oh, you look at your feet. Your feet are all slow. This guy's running circles around you. You're supposed to be Mr. All-American." So there, you want to talk about pressure? That was that inside ridicule from the family. I had, that was it was eye-opening, that I was resting on my laurels from winning a championship. And that's why it's so difficult to repeat. It's because if you can get a team to one, lose people, but still have that same culture to be able to put it together, get back to the championship, get back to that bowl game. That is, I mean, look at Patrick Mahomes, you know, four back-to-back championship games. You know, look at all these quarterbacks who have done just a great job, but there's something that, you know, you have to have that intangible grind. You have to have that mentality. You have to have that get up and go, that I'm not going out tonight, that I need to go lift, that I need to write this paper. It's not just on the field. It's not just in the weight room. It's on the field. It's in the weight room. It's in the kitchen. It's in your family's house. It's in your dorm room. It's in the library. The Mamba mentality, that grind mentality, that hustler mentality is everywhere. It's everywhere. And if you don't have it, you're not going to win. And as much as we want to say, oh, you know, it's not about winning, it's about playing. If it wasn't about winning, then there wouldn't be W's and there wouldn't be L's. There wouldn't be those two columns. If it was about participation, then there would be a peak column. There'd be a W, a P, and an L. But there's not. There's a win column and there's a loss column. You either win or you lose.
Because no one wants a tie.
No one wants it. Oh my goodness.
No one wants a tie.
You think I want to play 60 minutes today? The refs say we've got a tie game. No, we don't. We are playing until somebody wins. I'm not leaving.
Well, and I won't even get into, Trevor and I always talk about, you know, the overtime rule in the NFL. I like the collegiate one because everyone gets a chance.
Okay.
Not really decided on a coin toss.
Okay.
I don't know if the NFL will ever change it. I'm hoping they will, my personal opinion.
Well, so we're talking about the Buffalo game, I'm assuming.
Well, yeah. I mean, all of them a couple weeks ago. Yeah, basically.
Okay. So I was talking to some people about this, and it was a great conversation because it was like, well, Buffalo didn't get the ball. Some people are saying, well, that's not the rule. Buffalo didn't stop them. If Buffalo stopped them, then they would have got the ball back.
Yeah, no, that's a good point.
And I'm like, okay, yeah, that does play there, you know. And I guess that's the difference between the levels. That's the difference between level 2 and level 3. Level 2, okay, everybody gets a chance, everybody gets the ball, you know, who knows what could happen. Level 3, you don't get a chance. So
no, that's a good point. That's a very good point. And, you know, not like in T-ball, I'll never forget when my brother played, you know, not everyone gets a trophy, and you got to learn at a young age that It's not just, okay, well, you get 4 at bats and you know, I mean, it's a game.
Yeah, it's a game, and somebody's got to win, and you know, you gotta feel that pain of loss. You gotta feel it. You gotta shed a tear, you know, to be able to come back from it and say, no, I'm not going to feel that way anymore. I'm not going to cry anymore. But I want to say one quick thing, and then I know you got to run. Talking about the playoffs, do you remember? Let's give Gabriel Davis. Let's give Gabe Davis from the Buffalo Bills his props for those 4 touchdowns that he scored. Unprecedented. No one had ever done it before. But do you remember the second to last touchdown that he caught? He caught the third. He caught the third touchdown where he faked a corner and ran the post, and the corner fell down. Do you remember that play?
I do.
I replayed that play so many times because, you know, there are not that many receivers that have that kind of jab step, that have that kind of quickness. You know, Santonio Holmes was like that. Antonio Brown is like that. Steve Smith was like that. You know, countless other very fast wide receivers. But I swear, Mike Hughes is his name. Mike Hughes, if you're watching, God bless you. You know, I'm not talking bad about you. I'm just, you know, this is just football banter. So if you're watching and listening, don't be mad at me. But this man, his back pedal, he stabbed. He stabbed so Gabe Davis stabbed so hard at Mike Hughes. Mike Hughes looked like he stepped on a landmine. Like, I mean, he thought he went for that fake, and I mean, his feet got crossed, his arms went up in the air, he turned around, fell on his face. I'm like, oh no. oh no, that's not good. That's embarrassing.
Well, I can't even imagine. I've had embarrassing moments in my career, but when you're out on the field and you're embarrassed, you got to just shake it off and get up and go.
And God
just
bless
like
him.
that.
God bless him. He did, because if I replayed it, and Mike Hughes, number 21, he took that break. Somebody got him, and he got up and just put his head down. He was like, you know what? I'm not even gonna fight it, man. I'm not even gonna fight it. And God bless
I love
him.
it. You get so animated, and so many football players do. And that's why there are a couple guys I was watching on ESPN that get so animated. 13 seconds left. You always do the squid kick, blah, blah. And it's so, I mean, I get so into it, and I never played. I just used to watch it all every Sunday with my dad after church.
Right.
And sorry, there's a leaf blower out here. But but I get it. And you guys get so animated, and it's so much fun. And it's so much fun for me to get these stories out, because you're right.
Yeah.
Everyone has a story. I have stories, but they're way more exciting when it's about a football game and, a career, and that you still get so excited about the game. And I'm glad you went to that first pro game and had fun and said, oh, I get it. I just think it's, especially this season, it has just been so much fun to watch, and unprecedented. And no Tom Brady, no Aaron Rodgers in the play, in the division, and all that, or in the Super Bowl. And it's, it's been fun, and it's been something fun for me to introduce to everyone and people like you that, football has affected your life in a big way.
Absolutely.
And I love all your points, and I love you, man.
Love you too, Maria. I love you too. Love you too. I must say, I had so much fun with you that year. You taught me so much, so professional, watching you. And then, from going from that and then watching you do the rodeo stuff, I'm like, there's Maria.
You're so sweet. Yeah, I've lost, you said it takes a lot of, everyone's vain, but you got to be humble. And this podcast and blog, let me tell you, there's no vanity, there's no makeup. I'm like, I gotta put my glasses on to see and to cover the bags under my eyes. But that's why we do what we do, because we love it. And
that's right.
You are HD the voice, and I do want to say that you're starting a podcast, and I can't wait. I don't know if you want to give away what it is or tell it, but I'm going to help promote that.
It's gonna be, I don't want to give away too much, just for legal purposes. I want to keep all that in, just to make sure, all the trademarks and copyrights are in there. But it's gonna be for our first responder community. It's gonna be for them, about them, on a whole level of just being of caring for them. A network where they can really just, find a safe space, a safe place in each other. So don't worry, I'll keep you posted. It's it's getting built now, and it's going to be great. And we've got great topics coming up. So as soon as it's up and running, don't worry, I'll let you know, and I'll keep you posted.
Well, thanks for the stories. It's great. And watch for his new podcast coming out. I'll put all your social media down below, because it is good for promoting this stuff.
That's right.
Thanks, honey. Mwah.
All right. Thank you. I'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, HD. And if you missed our podcast last week, make sure you get the first half of it. He's such a positive, great guy. And again, thanks to all of not only the football players for sharing their stories with me so far, but all the firefighters and the first responders who go out every day and save lives. So thanks to them. That is my Maria's Minute. Be happy, be safe, and we will see you next week. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Thanks.